What are you eating?
Caramel.
Oh, I want one. Oh.
There you go, man.
Dude, it's a mint.
Mine came a mint too. Welcome everybody to the Glaziar Gamble. Welcome to the Glaziar Gamble podcast, episode 44. And we're just gonna do the one-ish topics here again, like we did last week, because people seem to like that. This will be episode 4 of Moon Knight, but we have one quick little piece of information that relates to that we'd like to let you know first. Take it away, Joe.
All right, so in regards to Moon Knight is a member of the Midnight Suns, which includes a bunch of variations of heroes: Blade, Punisher, Doctor Strange, Moon Knight's one of them, like we said. So in regards to Moon Knight and the Midnight Suns, Werewolf by Night is coming. It's going to be a Halloween special. And there's an actress that joined that series, Laura Donnelly, and rumor has it that she's going to be playing Elsa Bloodstone, which is I believe also a member of the Midnight Suns at some point. She helps fight supernatural beings, along with most of the other Midnight Suns. So, we could be getting Elsa Bloodstone as soon as Halloween hits, as soon as that season, spooky season.
A few episodes back, I said that's one of the people I want the most.
Sure.
So, they also said that Werewolf by Night will not be the name of the Halloween special.
Sure.
But I wonder what it'll be. I wonder if it'll still be Werewolf.
Season.
Yes, spooky season. Or will it be like Midnight Suns? I don't know. But yeah, speaking of Midnight Suns, though, Moon Knight, episode 4. It was episode 1. I gave like a 4 out of 10. Episode 2, 9. Episode 3, 9. Episode 4, I give a what the fuck.
Yeah. It definitely threw you for a loop. One.
So I'd say it's like a 9.5. I was gonna give it a 10. However, there were a couple things throughout the episode that made me go, oh, meh. Like it was either predictable or just unnecessary.
Sure.
One of those being they didn't really. The initial chase scene. Where like she was like rolling down the hill, then he goes like, that was fine. It didn't really seem necessary.
Yeah, I thought me watching that one, they were like, check the car. Yeah, and I was like, okay.
That was one of the things.
Around the car. I was like, wait a second. You watched her run behind the car, like
to the point where you said somebody was running.
Yeah, and then it's just a barren car in the middle of nowhere. And then you like walk around it and she's not there.
Where do you think she went? So, do you want to check inside the car? No. That was one of the things that I thought was stupid or unnecessary. Was the whole scene itself was slightly unnecessary, but the fact that they didn't even check inside the car, very stupid. But yeah, so then her and Steven, because Steven now is the overtaker of the body.
Yeah.
Not Mark. Her and Steven get to the tomb. They walk there and they kiss after Mark says don't lay a hand on her.
Right.
And because now him and Mark, they both like Layla, love Layla, and they kiss. That was one of the things I thought it was very quick. Like she was very quick to kiss him in the initial one.
Right.
To the point where the second attempt at the kiss seemed unnatural and strange.
Which they wanted her to be like hers to look more like confident and like she's done it before, whereas Steven's was like awkward.
Yeah.
More to him, whereas she's like
it still seemed fast. Like we get that they're more compatible in terms of conversational, and her and Mark are more compatible in terms of like what they want to do.
Yeah, we wanted
but so like I don't know. It just seemed a little strange to me that I get why they're doing it, but the delivery, why it seemed rushed or unnatural. So it was just kind of, I don't know if that was on purpose, but it seemed unnatural.
When in secret, she probably loves Jake the most. Even though Jake probably seems like the most murderous of the three, so yeah,
could be. We don't know. Could be.
Yeah, whoever killed those people in episode 3.
That Mark was even shocked at it.
Yeah. What did you do, Steven? It wasn't me.
It has not been confirmed yet that was Jake. We don't know still. But then they get into the tomb, and then they talk about her dad, and another reference to the dad, which, you know, we mentioned it last week. They made it pretty obvious. Mark raided a tomb, or raided a archaeological site, and her dad died at an archaeological dig site.
But you just think it's him. You think it's him the whole time. That it's probably Mark that killed him, but
it was his partner.
Comes up, yeah, some other dude that shot him too. That was trying to kill him too.
Right.
But yeah, that's how I understood it.
But yeah, so Steven and her go through the tomb, and they find some, you know, remains. They find blood and jars, and turns out, and we also saw some pretty disgusting stuff going on.
Yeah.
They gave you a glimpse of it outside the tomb of one of the hooks.
Yeah. Like the sacrificial part, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but before they got to the sacrificial, they zoomed in on one of those tools for the sacrificial part. Was at the camp.
Right.
So their camp was raided by those, by that protector.
The Egyptian, like priests or something like that.
It was like a sorcerer that was a guardian. Sure. Yeah. Yep.
One thing I really liked about that is when they did show that, like, being whatever it was, I got a bunch of like the Descent vibes.
Yeah, it was decrepit a little bit.
Yeah, like just like the like clicking.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
I was wondering, I was like
the Descent. Yeah, because like apparently they do that, so Ahmed is like the voice, right? So they all got their tongues removed, and so they make that clicking noise to like echolocate almost.
Yeah, yep. That's why the one was reaching its hand through. It wasn't for unnecessary creepiness. It was because it had to, in order to find her through the wall.
Right. So yeah, very Descent vibes, because they're all like morphed with bats.
I was interested to know why it was taking the organs of all these people.
Right.
Like why? Like I don't know if it was sacrificing to Ahmed because it was supposed to be from ancient Egypt and that sort of thing. But and I say it because it didn't seem human.
Yeah. But, no, not at all.
But yeah, it was interesting to me that they, you know, it was disemboweling people for some unsaid or unknown reason, and wasn't targeting Arthur clearly.
Right.
But yeah, so then they get chased by that thing. They get separated. And that's when she defeats one of those things.
Then has a conversation with Arthur.
And then has a conversation with Arthur where Arthur tells her Mark killed your dad. And little thing there.
During that time, Steven is exiting out a different way that he found. And he ends up coming along to the lost tomb of Alexander the Great. Arthur the Great. Alexander the Great. Yep. Who now in like MCU canon was probably one of the avatars of Amit at one point.
They said it was the final avatar of Amit.
Yeah.
They said the final avatar was clearly a pharaoh, and then we found out that pharaoh was a Macedonian who labeled himself as Egyptian, which was Alexander the Great.
Sure. And Arthur Harrow also said at one point that the last Avatar betrayed Amit. So I wonder what exactly Alexander did.
Probably used his abilities or whatever to conquer and do whatever he did.
Yeah.
Created himself as the false idol and remembered instead of making it all about Amit.
Sure.
Would be just an early.
Yeah. So after that, so Stephen found that tomb, and then he's like, Alexander the Great, like Amit was the voice, and so he rips open the mouth and goes
rips off the bandages, then it
goes elbow deep down the throat to find
and that was one of the things I thought was unnecessary, was Mark telling Stephen, get in there, bud, dig in there deep. It was really weird.
Yeah.
It was like a really out of place line of dialogue,
Yeah.
He had already punched Steven with his own hand.
Yeah.
And told Steven like he actually wasn't upset with him because he told Layla the truth that Khonshu was after her.
Yeah. It's like I didn't have the balls to do that or something like that.
Right. So then he was surprised by that. So it didn't seem like vindictive, like, yeah, get in there, you're the one that has to do this.
Get in there, you dirty little slut.
Right. And that's what it felt. He was like, yeah, dig in there, you dirty little slut, you worthless piece of shit, get that. And I was like,
let me spit on you.
Right. And I was like, that was the really weird line of dialogue. But yeah, then that's when Arthur and Layla have their conversation. Layla ends up going the other direction and going to find Steven and Mark.
Right.
Has this super dumb interaction where Mark says we have to get out of here because she says what happened to my father. Steven lets Mark take over because
he's like, I don't want any part of this. Like,
he's uncomfortable. It was clear he was uncomfortable. It was like a quick. They didn't do any sort of camera shake. It was just in.
All they did was switch from the right side of Steven's face to the left side of Mark's face. That's how you.
And then they had that stupid whole we should be running right now, but we don't.
Right.
And Harrow shows up with all his people. He tells Layla to run. She has the thing, right?
Yeah, I think she's got the
job or whatever. And then
back to that first scene, that little idol thing. Osiris has put a ton of those away.
10. There were 10. I counted.
Yeah, a ton of them. So, more on that later. Keep going.
Osiris added Khonshu's to the other 9, and Khonshu was the 10th that they showed on the wall of gods that were locked away.
Yeah. So,
pretty interesting. I thought that was interesting to start out. But yeah, then Harrow shows up with his people in the tomb with Layla and Steven arguing. And Layla ran all that. And then Harrow, because Mark decides to fight them, Harrow shoots Mark twice.
Right.
In the chest.
One like here, then one right in the middle.
Yeah. And then Mark falls into water in the tomb after like stumbling backwards.
Yeah, and the water's like, I don't know, probably like 8 inches deep.
Lying on his back, his face is still out of the water.
Right.
And
Harrow
says, I can't help somebody who won't help themselves.
Yeah, something along those lines, yeah. Then it shows
he starts falling into the water.
Sinking
for some reason. Into this open light. It looked like a light at the end of a tunnel. You think it's like maybe falling through, like he floated to the top of something. You don't know.
Yeah.
But it ends up being a flashlight, and all of a sudden we're watching some sort of low production movie that looks like from the 80s or 70s or something.
Yeah.
And Tomb Buster. I was officially confused as hell at that point. I thought that it maybe like Disney Plus had moved on to the next thing for a second because I like got up and then I like walked up and then I came back. I grabbed crackers. Disco. I grabbed crackers. And when I came back, because he was sinking, I was like, "Oh, what happened? What is it?" And it was Tomb Buster, and the doctor's name that was trying to bust
Dr. Stephen Grant.
Dr. Stephen Grant. Yeah. And then it shows that it's on TV, and that people are watching the TV in a psych ward.
Yeah.
And everything's white, and everybody's like a mental patient, and
they're feeding everyone sweets.
They're feeding everybody sweets, and they're playing bingo.
You see all the people, people from...
They're not just playing bingo, they use the letter T.
Yeah. And then the numbers don't match up to a typical bingo board.
Yeah.
But they have all the people there from the story so far. So like the dude calling the numbers is the statue guy. His boss at the museum's there. She's holding a little ladybug that she was holding in the museum scenes. Both the detectives that work for Harrow, they were there. They're like orderlies.
They were orderlies moving or handing things out and all that.
Right. So, very weird.
And then we found out that Mark, his favorite movie is Tomb Buster. With Stephen Grant, and then he holds a little action figure of a little knight of Moon Knight. And Layla's there, and she's another patient. And
by the way, she did incredible. She's been one of the huge. I mean, this movie.
I think I mentioned it last week. I want more
incredible.
Layla. That she's been badass, and I want more her.
Even that in like the coop, like in the psych ward scene, like she was like, I don't know.
She was good.
Yeah.
She has been phenomenal. I 100% agree. She's been like the brightest spot of this show has been Layla. She's been. Yeah. I didn't realize how much I would like her character when they introduced her.
Right.
I want more of her. I like more and more of her has been better. It's been really cool. But yeah, then she takes the winning bingo card and says, I'll share it with you this time, I promise. Right. Saying that she's stolen his bingo cards in the past, and which kind of insinuates, like during the show they've looted things together and he's taken everything.
Right.
But then he falls out of his chair because he's trying to talk to his reflection, Steven.
Right.
Nothing's happening, and he falls forward. And then he ends up like kind of dazedly ending up being interviewed by a psychiatrist or something like that. The psychiatrist is Ethan Hawke as Harrow, talking to him about, I watched your favorite movie again.
Right. Gives a famous line from it. Something like, the tree can't grow to heaven unless it's seen
roots dig to the depths of hell. Yeah. And they start talking, and then Mark's they in their conversation, he says, oh, you've been sedated because of your behavior.
He's like, you shot me.
And then they end the conversation. Mark's like, you shot me. And then Harrow's like, calm down, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, you shot me.
Mark notices the cane, and then he notices his Crocs in the reflection. Yeah. He notices the Alps with the city in front
of it.
There's
a pyramid on his desk, a glass pyramid on his desk, and a statue.
The lamp is like a crescent almost.
And then he has a statue of Ahmed on his desk as well, or in the corner as well. Yeah. And then he's got the pyramid, so all this stuff is connecting.
Yeah.
And he tries to escape. The door's locked. The orderlies come in, and Harrow's like, don't hurt him, all this stuff. But then Mark hits the one, bites the other, runs out, hides in another room where there's a sarcophagus shaking and somebody screaming, let me out from the inside. He opens it, and it's Steven.
Yeah.
And and they're in different bodies.
Yeah.
But they're in the same body, but different bodies.
Yeah, so they're
twins.
in they're in different outfits, and it's almost like Mark's wearing his white because he's technically closer to Khonshu than he is. But yeah. Then they go past another door, and there's another sarcophagus shaking,
but they don't open.
They don't go in there.
And I hated that because I was like, here's where it is.
Jake.
I know. I was like, they're gonna reveal it. They're gonna open that one, because Steven, while Mark keeps running, Steven stops and wants to open it.
Yeah.
And then he decides to run after, because like Mark is still running. Steven stops and goes, and then goes.
Yeah.
So Mark completely ignores.
I thought 100%. I was like, that's Jake right there. Jake's in that one.
Which it was in a red standing sarcophagus with it looked dark and evil. Like it was red and black, like all like stereotypically evil colors. Yeah. And it looked like it might have had a sphinx, or not sphinx, pharaoh, similar to Alexander the Great.
Sure.
It looked like it might have had a typical pharaoh's look. So it was very interesting. Like maybe Jake will be the Egyptian connection. Like he'll be an Egyptian taxi driver or something.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Then they kept running.
They kept running. This was right at the end of the episode. They kept running, and all of a sudden they saw
double doors
because they didn't know where the exit was.
Right.
And we see some huge figure behind the door.
Right.
So they stop. The door opens, and it's the goddess.
It's Tawarat.
Yeah, she's a hippo. She's the goddess of fertility and birth.
Yeah.
She primarily protects pregnant women and protection of births and babies.
She's like, you see the little ears like flicking and the nostrils flaring, and then how you get us a hi.
Right. Hi. And she's British.
Yeah.
It's this.
Here's
the voice of her. Apparently, this is her first major role.
Okay. I believe the actress is credited for Moon Knight episode 4, 5, and 6. So we should continue to see Tower Rot. They're probably gonna have a connection in there. In the post-credit scene, it shows like those little statues and the busts of all those little statues, and Tower Rot is in the corner in a statue. So I assume that she is banished as well for something. So all the those
and then they finish
gods,
the credits with Harrow's face.
Yeah, all of these banished gods may be here as well. So
where is here?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's when I finished, and I said, because I wasn't familiar with this like line of comics. If it's from the comics, I wasn't familiar with what this could be. Are they trying to tell us that which one of these things is real? Which already is any? Of this
I mean,
real?
I don't know at this point. Like.
They did it. That's why I was like, I want to give this a 10, but there was those couple little things in the beginning that I really couldn't move past.
Sure.
I did some research, and apparently there is a line of comics that did this exact thing, where they made Moon Knight feel like he was in a psych ward, and he was supposed to be imagining everything that has to do with Moon Knight.
Sure.
So there is a line of comics. Apparently the creators of the show said they got their biggest inspiration from those comics.
All right.
So it's supposed to, like, it apparently could be, from that line. However, in that line of comics, I believe, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't match up right. So I can't tell. I love the way this episode made me feel.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So
I love so I really love watching Daredevil or Punisher. I love the super long one shots. And they did that in, like, that's what they started with in the psych ward, was a super long, just a one shot where they did the whole scene in one take. At least that's what it seemed like. There's no like cuts or anything, but
the cut was to Harrow.
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of that. I don't know, the whole like bringing in the people from his past into it too, and it's like, wait a second, like what is going on? Because like I want to believe all the stuff we've seen has happened, but it's like,
and Steven said the last thing he remembers too was getting shot.
Yeah. So
it's not. Is this place supposed to be a limbo? If it was a limbo, why would all these other people be there?
Yeah.
Are they floating in some sort of... Is the pool that he's floating in some sort of Egyptian... Not necessarily... It could be magic, because we have magic coming into the MCU now.
You also have magic with Amit and Khonshu so far.
So is the pool maybe imbued with some sort of magic where he is kind of experiencing Amit's power through the pool?
Yeah.
Is this reality? And he's now in, like, maybe when Khonshu was, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen something like this is him close to death, and like this is him before all the mercenary, like after the mercenary thing happened when he got shot, and this is the like period where like Khonshu saves him, and he's in this like out of limbo, better form, or like a coma or something. I don't know.
It makes me feel better about the fact that the media members that got to watch all this early have been stuck at this for so long.
Yeah.
Because like I would be so frustrated. Obviously, I got to see everything early. Awesome.
Right.
But you also have been stuck at this limbo portion.
Yeah.
You got to for over a month now.
Yeah.
They were stuck at this.
What's the last thing you saw? A giant hippo talking to Mark and Steven, and all they
separated.
Say is, hi. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
After they ran by another sarcophagus that was shaking.
Yeah. The fact that, I don't know. I was like, that's Jake.
Right. And that's like all we can take away from it. Like, we have some theories and that sort of thing, but the only thing we can really take away is like, we know there is a confirmed third personality. There were other doors that they didn't. There were doors past Steven as well. Right. Are those all supposed to be personalities, or are those other people that we're not?
Yeah. And like, are we in my opinion, like we're inside Mark's mind? Are we inside Mark's mind? like, are we inside Mark's mind, and like one door leads to Steven, one door leads to Jake, and all these other doors are just different, not necessarily personalities, but different aspects of his life, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
So you're gonna get maybe like the military training he got. Like,
the way I see it is I think Harrow is in control, and I think Harrow is starting to lose control. That's what's happening right now. And I think we're supposed to be seeing it as Harrow manipulating his mind.
Right. That's
kind of how I see it.
Is the door was closed on Steven. So going back to what you said about Harrow just now, did Harrow just close him off from Steven? Try to close him off from Steven and get just Mark, because Mark has all the answers, right? Like,
I think so.
Khonshu. And so Steven was shut. Like, the door was shut. He had to open the door, close it, and get into that room. But when they passed that other sarcophagus, that door was open. So, like, that could be if referencing Mark's mind, that could be some door that's been open, but nobody knows about it, even Harrow. So, even Mark and Steven, like, they didn't even know.
When they took over, and both of them were confused.
Yeah.
When Jake, we're just gonna say Jake. When Jake took over, they were both confused and didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
So I think he's out of the sight of Khonshu. He's out of sight because Khonshu didn't say anything. Khonshu didn't know.
Khonshu didn't know. He knew
Harrow doesn't
Steven.
know.
Yeah. Harrow knows both of the two, but yeah. I don't know. It's super weird.
I do think Harrow / Amit are the ones that are currently manipulating the situation.
Well, yeah, they manipulated the Osiris and the rest. I forgot what it's called. The other group.
The other gods.
Right.
The Council of Gods.
Right.
Whatever.
So, yeah. So he just manipulated them and made them believe that Khonshu was crazy, even though Khonshu very well might be as well. So we're all going crazy, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Maybe Amit was let out. Maybe she picked Steven's body or / Mark their body as an avatar. Yeah. And this is now life inside of that idol. Maybe Steven and Mark are now inside that idol, and this is their version of this kind of tortured hell inside that idol, which is why the other gods that have been imprisoned are there.
Right. I don't know.
Maybe. One of the psych patients drew Khonshu.
Yeah, it's a hummingbird.
It was a hummingbird with Khonshu's
head. Yeah. So I don't know what that means.
I have no idea. I love it. I'm super confused and I love it.
Yeah.
We could go anywhere at this point. The issue with the fact that we can go anywhere at this point is we could go in a position we don't like.
Yeah.
I was wrong with my last prediction. We did not get a new MCU. We did not get a current MCU character to come in the post credits or anything like that and show up. But
in 4. Yeah.
Right.
I still think you could save it for the end.
We got to see a god. We got to see another god. Yeah. So there's something.
Yeah.
We got to see something.
Yeah. We do, actually. We've seen Khonshu. We've seen Tower Rot, and they've both been like kind of equal in size. So like, you're looking at something that big, like in the future. So I don't know.
I have no clue.
Can't wait till next week.
What would you give it? I gave it a 9.5. What would you give it?
So I didn't. You're right. The points you made, I didn't not like them, but it's like they were like, why would you? I don't know. They want to add humor to it. I get it, but at the same time, like, we're supposed to be adapting the crazy.
You also had multiple jump scares. Like, you don't. If your goal is dark and creepy, pick one. Pick an avenue.
Yeah. So let's see. I'd probably give it in like the 8.5 to 9 range. You know, like I feel like a perfect episode is hard to come by. I'd have to like rewatch all of the. There's perfect moments in almost every episode, but to get a perfect episode, 8.5, 9. That's right. It's still good range, but
yep. I think it was a little too predictable, making them kiss and then making her pissed. Like, it was just there was a couple things that kept it from being perfect, and it was just things that I think could be written differently and fixed fairly easily. So, I think that's what makes it a little frustrating, is because there's things that could have been avoided.
Right.
But the fact that I felt we got to see, love, some humor. I didn't laugh once, but jump scare, kind of terrified, or like vindictive with Harrow, confusion, anger. We gotta feel all these different things, and then the end of the episode makes us feel like we're desperate for the next one. Like I wish the next episode comes out today.
Yeah, 100%.
That sort of feeling makes me want to give it a higher score, because I originally was like, 8.5. I want to give it that 9 because of how badly I want that next episode.
Right.
So I definitely my favorite episode yet. However, because it doesn't have Moon Knight in it, it makes me sad to say that.
Right.
Because I want Moon Knight in every episode, obviously.
Yeah, did we have that little action figure?
Well, and it's funny because I said after last episode, when we got more Moon Knight, I was like, well, when we add it out, we'll be getting more and more Moon Knight per episode, so we're probably gonna end up being a decent amount. This episode had 0.
Yeah, it doesn't have Khonshu. So I don't know. I do want to see, like, in 5 or 6, just Moon Knight going to town. Just like Moon Knight killing people, flipping around, doing acrobatics. Give him his staff, make him just go nuts. I want to see a long fight scene.
I don't want to go another episode without revealing Jake either.
Yeah.
Please don't wait till the final episode to reveal Jake.
Yeah. If you don't do Jake, then I don't know. If they don't do Jake, then I'm still holding out for that post-credit scene with, like, Blade or something.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
At least hint at a third one or another one.
Well, they've done the hints.
Yeah. But, like, make him realize, like, oh shit, there might be another one. Or something.
Right.
Or Harrow say, like, it's just you two or something like that. And then it's like, well,
no, it's not. No.
Yeah.
I'm excited for next week. I've never been more excited for another episode.
Yeah.
Loki was the only one. So the reason I still say Loki was better is because this is how I felt with Loki every episode. So desperate for the next episode.
Yeah, I think
I didn't feel that way with WandaVision.
Loki 5 and 6. Loki 5 and 6 were incredible. Like, those are I would say those are probably my highest rated one.
Those were like mini movies.
The final fight in 5, where you get old god Loki and kid Loki. Yeah. The Glorious Purpose fight. And then Loki gets his, like, enchanter's powers. Like, he realizes he can do that too. And then the 6th one, you get He Who Remains. You get Jonathan Majors. Like, that was incredible. In WandaVision, it was when
Sylvie turns on you when you didn't think she would. And
in WandaVision, it was my peak there was probably her coming out of the hex and fucking up something and then turning all the guns on him. And she's straight up just Sokovia and, like, pissed. Like, that was a 10 out of 10 moment for me. But, they're throughout the whole things.
Right.
Like the Falcon Captain America reveal with his
when he brings out his business card in, like, the first episode.
Yeah, Jimmy Woo. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, there's perfect moments. There's perfect moments in every show. You can pick it out. So
I definitely think it's a different feeling for Marvel. It's a good path to go. If this is what they plan to do with, like, Blade and Midnight Suns, just go full on. Make that when they're inside the tomb with, the disemboweling, the jump scares, the violence.
I was waiting
keep that for tone for the whole thing.
That moment, I wanted Layla to be sitting on the side of it and blood running down and, like, dripping on her. Like, and she has to stay still in that moment. Like, that, I don't know. That's what I thought was going to happen. Like,
I thought something like that would happen.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're going to go horror, go full horror, man. Like,
Yep. That's the thing. It's like, if this is the path you want to go, make it rated R, and let's, like, because imagine the whole episode with that tone.
Yeah.
It would just be like you would be kind of like sitting in awe and shock for the whole episode. I think that's what people want. I think people would love to see that for an entire episode.
They want Disney to have all these different avenues, and then like in the team ups, you can dial it back a little bit depending on what you're doing. So like if you're bringing Moon Knight into an Avengers movie, you're gonna dial it back, right? Because you need to make it PG-13. But if you add Moon Knight to a Blade project, you want to make it more hardcore.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like they can do different things.
Yeah. I don't really have much more to say besides that was fucking awesome. That was so good. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all we got this week. We just wanted to tell you more about Moon Knight, Elsa Bloodstone a little bit. Yeah, it was worked out for us. You guys liked that last week with the single tone episode, single topic. We're going to keep it that this week. And next week we'll see what we want to do. It's going to be a big episode, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You guys all look great today, though. Look phenomenal. We love you.
I hit this, not the mic.
Let's go. GG.
GG. Can't do it, GG.